Ladies and gentlemen, why are we back with Virtue's Last Reward? New game plus, one more playthrough for speed running. No, that is not it. If you've seen my finale, you might have noticed that I forgot a part. It was not truly the finale. Somehow. That's right. Look at this bullshit. How did I forget a part? I have no idea, dude. I just cause I spent like the whole day recording like VLR, like the last 4 episodes. I just like the part I finished, I just felt like a pretty proper ending. So I just didn't expect there to be more. But after checking out some other people's playthroughs, I realized that I missed a big chunk. So we ended off with that. Um, but oh my god, there's more. How? How? um, so we'll see. I guess this is after the real end post Akane fate stabbing Sigma to send him back to the past, I guess. I mean, I'm fine with going back into this. I'm excited. Give it a proper final send off. And I'm sorry for anyone watching and they watch the finale video and they're like, "What the fuck, Aiden? Where's the real ending?" Um, yeah. So I don't know. We'll just see what's happening here. I assume there's no escape. But we get to see our boys and girls one final time. Nice. So is everything recording properly? It is beautiful. Where? Ooh, question mark. I see you've finally woken up, Kyle. Ah, this is Kay. Kyle? Ah, yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing. I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran around to the other side of the partition. The mirror over the sink was covered with a film of dirt. I wiped it off my sleeve, and my reflection stared back at me. I wonder if it's with the suit or just like young Sigma, clone looking. Oh. Oh! I guess, yeah, that's technically true. Kate, like in the final route, Kate just didn't wake up, right? He was literally asleep the whole time because Akane took over the suit and put him into freeze. So okay, so we're getting like afterwards, I guess. Because I mean, yes, we sent Sigma back and to start the ultimate mission, but like, what's gonna happen with the survivors? That it's not like they can go back, so they just have to like live their lives. That's interesting. I wonder if it's gonna be like more of a fun episode, though it does seem pretty intense right now, so maybe not. All right, let's actually continue. There was no mistake. The reflection belonged to Kyle Klim. So I'm Dr. Klim, Zero Senior's clone. What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia? An excellent question, one I didn't quite know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Klim was. In another history, he had been called K, and he had worn a suit of armor. He hadn't just worn the armor in that history, though. Apparently, he had worn it all his life. Kyle had been born and raised in this lunar installation, which seemed to be called Rhizome 9. Rather late in his life, Akane had appeared as a mother figure, and he had constantly grown very attached to her. I knew everything about him, but even though I knew it, I didn't feel it. Was I really Kyle Klim? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Klim in his younger days. Excuse me. I looked down. Hey, my boy Dio. Mr. Meme. There was Dio still handcuffed. I do feel a little bad about the cheer list. I kind of want to bump Dio up a little more. Make him low A if I could change it. I love Dio, man. He's a horrible person, but he's hilarious. I turned back around to Luna. What day is today? January 27th, 2074. Then today's the last day of the AB project. Atene has explained everything in the garden. Then she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep? About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours. So they still haven't been treated for their rhabdomyocytes? No, they've all been given the antiviral. It just takes a while to have an effect. Ah, I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Acne attacked Phi, right? Yes. Why am I here? The doctor carried you back here. Ah! Oops, wait, let me click off. I popped a key off my keyboard. How? There we go. Whoops. Here we go. There. You were in the pod in the garden. So the person you call the doctor is Sigma Klim is inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness. Ah, the real Zero's back. That'd be interesting if we get to meet him. Yes, but how do you know that? I mean, it makes sense. That's the plan, right? His old consciousness comes back, right? Dio seems to have remained unconscious. Yes, I've been administering Sofro whenever he gets restless. What about the others? They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance. Chilling in the bar? Nope. Oh. Oh, right, Mr. Klim. So the sleephead's finally up, huh? What are you two doing here? You don't know where we are? This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one. Oh, right. So they can investigate the whole place, right? Since the project's done. They can open at least the other door. So this is the one that leads outside. Mm-hmm. We were just about to get dressed and head out. You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean? Yeah. Interesting they're not staying. I mean, I guess it makes sense since they have lives at Earth. But I wonder how Junpei properly talked to Akane. Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, I guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Klim now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it. Why? What do you mean, why? Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here. How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you? You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Rhabdomyocytes created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened. Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not gonna change. In fact, it's because of what he did, or he didn't do in the past, that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. So is he saying like my understanding is even if Sigma changes the past, it wouldn't change this future anyways, because it already happened. But like from what I'm seeing, like maybe Tenmyoji even says that Sigma's already failed anyways. This is the future. It's weird time stuff. Anyways, eventually they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. Let's go northwest, he says. So they take the northwestern road, but about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers. 90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded but survive. They don't stop though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they've done 10,000 miles. Then suddenly something happens that they couldn't have predicted. As who had survived suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident? Okay, so he was saying more like what I was thinking. That even if Sigma saves the world, these guys are still kind of screwed. Or trapped, at least. Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right? But his... Ah, right. Okay, 9 people then. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? I mean, that could happen. I don't know. It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during the 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories. Friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate, but what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they've been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness even in a world that hates it. I get what he's saying. Basically, you know, even if the world's fucked, is it right to like erase people's experiences? Because there could be some good ones. Obviously, if you're looking at the bigger picture of we can potentially save like 90% of the population, then I do think it is right, but I get what Tenryuji's saying. It's more of a personal level than a, you know, complete view. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can Look, I'm not just gonna accept that, alright? You get it? If cinema changes the past, then you and Twerk will never meet. Is he right? No, it's not gonna happen. We're here right now. This is reality. Even if cinema does change the past, we're not just gonna disappear or something. Oh, then that means we get to stay together? Good. Thanks, kid. I understand how you feel. Why you want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. Yeah. There are likely people waiting for you. Right. Uh-huh. Have you already said goodbye to the others? Fi, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. Who's missing? Wait, that's everyone, right? Sits, Dio7, K's 8. Oh yeah, Sigma's 9. Okay, yeah, pretty much everyone. We told them we'd see them again someday, and then came here. They were the only people you want to say goodbye to? No point saying anything to Dio. What? My boy. I mean, he's asleep, but still. Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too. Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you. You have a point. Akane was in the armor in this timeline after all. What about Sigma? Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore. Of course. He is Dr. Klim now that his consciousness has returned. Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know? And Akane? Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew. She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years. Hell, she might not even be a human anymore. But the Atene Kurishiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere. Hey, okay, bye. In the end, Clover and I were just pawns. What's up, Alice? Clover. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we're completely resentful. We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand, but it kinda sucks though. Yeah, that's one way to describe the situation. It does kinda suck, because Clover and Alice don't really have lives here. They're literally just stuck. I mean, Cinnamon and Vi have it easy. They get to go back to December 25th in 2028. They'll stop the radical sits and save the world, and then they'll have a nice normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen. But we don't. We're stuck with Point C as our starting point. You told us about Tenmyoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the Viters are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest. Don't get us wrong, we know why we had to be here. That is true. Yeah, those situations definitely the worst, because unlike Tenmyoji and Quark, they have lives, right? They didn't get to choose at all, or struggle, or make memories. They're just like, foot. Without us, as is conscious, they wouldn't have been able to go back right before the intersection. If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers would have been sealed. But it's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died. Are we just supposed to go live on Earth? It's a wasteland now. And what about our friends and families? We left a whole world behind 45 years ago. Even if it was for the greater good. It just doesn't seem fair, does it? Yeah, it's a little bit much. So we went and talked to the old lady. She told us that there is one way. One way we could get back to the past. Let's say you do go back to the past. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seems to be how Sigma and Vi's jumps worked, at least. Yes, you're right. But this is different. Different? How so? From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time too. That's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have 2 Clovers and 2 Alices at the same time? But that wouldn't happen. Atene says there's a way around that. How on earth does she plan to do that? Schrodinger's cat. Huh? Oh, hey, Kyle. I don't know what they mean. I guess because the other 2 are frozen and like locked away, so maybe it doesn't matter if other people never see them locked away. Maybe. Oh, hey, Kyle. Figured you'd come here eventually. What's up? Bye. Still don't really know about her backstory, huh? Maybe that'll be explored in the other game. Because doing the tier list, I'm pretty sure I saw her and Sigma, so they're probably, which made sense, they would be characters in the next game. Where's Dr. Clem? Luna said you were with him. He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now. There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right, he told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. So did Vi's consciousness not go back? Or I guess maybe, no, it did go back, because this is her. It's kind of weird, because Vi was frozen too, right? I don't know. Vi's situation's a little weirder than Sigma's. Want me to start it? Sure. Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately my circumstances make that an impossibility. I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Fi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is. Well, what does he mean, other than Kyle? Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask? Right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Fi? I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or Merman or a Wolfman. Hey, it's the line from the beginning. I'm not a Brahmin or a Common or a Ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you don't really need to worry about anything. Please don't dodge the question. Look at that face. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to the Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. Although by then you were in cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen until the time was right. Then, on January 25th, 2074, you were finally thawed out. Even though you didn't wake up. Still unconscious, you were carried to the AB room. That was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out. And sending you back to the December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility. Unfortunately, your plan failed. The Radicals did escape on New Year's Eve. The failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from Point E, you headed straight to Point D. Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods. Okay, I get the picture now, I think. Wait, let me go back. Little confused. So yeah, so she joined Sigma to infiltrate the Mars site originally, then they failed, then she followed his plan to wake up in the future so that her consciousness can go back with Sigma's. Kinda. Something like that. Basically, she was with Sigma when the Mars mission failed, is the important thing that we didn't know, I think. So, yeah. Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future. It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. You know, even though I have a pretty good comprehension of the story, this part is a little brain fucky. This caused the two versions of you to swap places, and you moved 45 years into the future where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in the cold sleep, for you only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back from the past from the garden. Have I missed anything? No, everything you talked about you got right. What do you mean by that? I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor. It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it. And I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain? It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus v1 times v2 divided by c to the power of 2 is the actual equation. Sure. Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c to the power 2, which is the speed of light squared. That means the 1 plus 1 equation is eventually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1. Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip the step and use v1 plus v2. You see what I'm saying? In most situations, it works even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about right. As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems. I don't quite understand. In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions. So was that what you wanted to ask about? No? What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you? Yes. What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Ratatoskitz in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with a simulated mission to space? Sorry, but I can't tell you that. Why? Because it would change history. There's a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation and Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear. You understand? I don't. Yeah, I don't understand why either. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know? You're about to go back to the past, right? The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that. Then where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about it. You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this? You know my past, Sigma's past? Oh, we're done. Hey, Atlene, I should give you your answer. You are not Kyle Klim. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Interesting. Who are we? Think about it. Do you really believe you are Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely? Then, where's the real Kyle's consciousness? It was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking, he has arrived at December 25th, 2028. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the doctor loves Kyle. He raised him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? Huh, interesting. I didn't know that. I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Klim's spare. But that was not his only purpose. Okay. Interesting. Damn. Maybe this I was thinking this wouldn't really affect my review or the tier list, but who knows, K might have got bumped if I read this first. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028. Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary. And this is why he created him? Yes. So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the doctor has achieved his objective? Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission? Correct. There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places? I suppose you can put it that way, yes. That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me? Are you telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box living in a borrowed body? No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrollable variable that entered our closed system. As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you. I, I have no idea what you... Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Feinstein, even with all his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world. There's no way I... Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028? Well, yes, I do, but then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be. If observations can change the motion of a particle, then how is it odd to think that humans' thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine. Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history. Only you can save the world. Me confused. Alternative end. Huh. So is that canon? I guess it is. Doesn't make sense why it wouldn't be. We're done? Who was that? I mean, just thinking logically, like, is it one of the Espers before? Like Snape, Junpei, Santa? But from what she described, it seems like this person's a special force above Espers, so perhaps it is someone we don't know for sure. But okay, double check. I think we are done. Interesting ending. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was kind of nice to see what happened to everybody, you know, just stranded in that reality. Tenmuji and K, or not K, Quark making the best of it. Alice and Clover have some sort of plan. Who knows? Maybe we'll see them in the past. Fi's chilling. We didn't get to see old Sidma. I kind of wanted to see his personality as Doctor. But yeah, we got more of the plan. So I guess K in someone else's body will be helping in the next game too, which is interesting. And possibly this unknown variable will also help. What does that mean? I have no idea, but I'm glad to put a proper wrap to the story. Let me just add to that. Yeah, anyways, thank you for watching the true finale. Again, it's been a great time playing this game. I've really enjoyed it. And definitely in the future, we'll probably play the final one. I know definitely and probably is weird, but there will be a pretty big break because I do want to get onto some other stuff, but I had a blast playing. Hopefully you enjoyed the series. I think I am going to react to the OVA. Maybe like right away, maybe a little later. Which I don't know what it is. I assume it's just promotional stuff. But we'll see. Anyways, so not the last VLR stuff, but last for the actual game. So then, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And see you sometime in the future. Bye for now.